Jesus entered the quiet vineyard at sunrise, carrying a small wooden hoe and several young grapevines. Golden light touched the empty field as he studied the soil and planned each carefully measured row. With patient hands, Jesus removed stones, thorny weeds, and dry fallen branches from the planting ground. He gathered every fallen twig into a pile, leaving the earth open to fresh air and morning sunlight. Jesus pressed the hoe into the hard soil, breaking each heavy clod into soft and workable pieces below. He moved steadily across the field, forming long furrows where healthy grape roots could spread deeply. Whenever he discovered a stubborn root, Jesus knelt and pulled it free without harming the good soil. By midday, the field looked smooth and ready,
the vineyard looked
with straight
smooth
rows
and ready,
stretching beneath the clear, bright sky. Jesus mixed rich compost into the earth, adding natural nourishment to every future grape planting place. He crumbled the dark soil between his fingers, checking that it felt loose, moist, and full of life. Next, Jesus marked equal spaces, making sure every young vine would have room to grow strong and breathe. At the first marker, he dug a deep hole and gently lowered one tender young grapevine into the ground. Jesus spread the delicate roots, covered them with soil, and pressed the surface lightly with both hands. He repeated the careful process along each row, treating every small plant with patience and respect. Before sunset, dozens of young grapevines stood upright beneath a peaceful and softly glowing golden sky. Jesus carried clean water across the field and poured a gentle stream around the base of every vine. The thirsty earth slowly darkened, holding precious moisture close to the newly planted roots below. He lifted bent leaves, straightened weak stems, and checked each vine before the evening became cool. The next morning, Jesus returned with wooden posts, strong rope, and simple tools for building support. He drove every post firmly into the soil, creating a steady frame beside each long and orderly vineyard row. Then Jesus stretched rope between the posts, keeping every line straight, level, tight, and fully secure. The finished trellis would guide the vines upward toward better sunlight, fresh air, and open space. As the days passed, Jesus watered the vineyard early, before strong heat settled across the open field. He poured water beside the roots instead of over the leaves, helping each plant drink deeply and safely. After watering, Jesus loosened the topsoil so fresh air could reach the deep growing roots underneath. He spread dry grass around every vine, keeping the ground cool and slowing the escape of precious moisture. Small weeds appeared between the rows, competing with the grapevines for sunlight, fresh water, and food. Jesus removed them one by one, protecting the young grape plants without disturbing their tender roots. Weeks later, bright green shoots began reaching outward from the once tiny and fragile young grapevines. Jesus smiled and tied each new shoot loosely to the trellis with narrow strips of soft cotton cloth. He never tightened the ties too much, because growing stems needed freedom to expand and strengthen. Every morning, Jesus inspected the leaves for insects, dark spots, holes, or unhealthy discoloration. When he found a damaged leaf, he removed it gently and carried it far beyond the outer vineyard boundary. During hot afternoons, Jesus checked beneath the mulch before deciding whether more water was needed. He knew excessive water could weaken roots, while too little moisture could stop the vines from growing. After several months, the grapevines climbed higher and covered the trellis with curling green branches. Jesus guided wandering shoots toward open places where every leaf could receive enough warm sunlight. He trimmed weak growth near the center, allowing fresh air to travel easily between crowded green leaves. With each thoughtful cut, Jesus helped the strongest branches prepare for flowers and abundant future fruit. One spring morning, tiny clusters of pale blossoms appeared beneath the broad and healthy green leaves. Jesus moved quietly among them, protecting the delicate flowers from rough handling and sudden damage. Soon the blossoms faded, and tiny round green grapes formed along the strongest and healthiest branches. Jesus removed crowded fruit from several clusters so the remaining grapes could become larger and sweeter. He supported heavy branches with extra ties, keeping them from bending or snapping during strong winds. When dark clouds gathered, Jesus strengthened the posts and checked every rope before the storm arrived. Rain swept across the vineyard that night, but the strong trellis remained steady through the weather. At dawn, Jesus lifted fallen shoots and opened shallow channels to guide extra water away from the roots. Summer brought longer days, and the grapes changed from hard green beads into round and colorful fruit. Jesus kept watering deeply, pruning carefully, and protecting every vine from insects, stress, and disease. He placed simple netting above ripening clusters, keeping hungry birds from taking the growing harvest. Day after day, the grapes became sweeter as sunlight filled them with beautiful color, juice, and flavor. Some clusters turned deep purple, while others became golden green beneath the wide and cloudless summer sky. Jesus tasted one grape and waited patiently, knowing the fruit still needed several more sunny days. He never rushed the harvest, because good fruit reaches its finest sweetness through time and steady care. At last, every ripe cluster appeared full, bright, fragrant, and completely ready to be carefully gathered. Jesus carried clean baskets between the rows and cut each cluster with a small and carefully sharpened knife. He supported every cluster beneath its stem, lowering it gently so none of the grapes became bruised. Basket after basket filled with purple and green fruit, shining beautifully in the early morning light. Jesus washed the harvest in clear water, then placed softer grapes inside a sturdy wooden pressing basket. With steady pressure, he crushed the ripe fruit, and fresh, ruby grape juice flowed slowly into a clay jar. Jesus rested beneath the trellis, remembering every stone, every watering, and every patient pruning cut. The harvest had grown through faithful work, showing how loving care can transform small beginnings. Before leaving, Jesus composted fallen leaves and pruned old branches to prepare the vines for renewal. Under the fading sky, he looked across the peaceful vineyard and thanked God for its generous harvest.